We're in Dereham in Norfolk today with Kickstart, a registered charity that provides mopeds and scooters for individuals with transport needs. I'm with Dale Curtis, who runs the scheme. So Dale, could you tell us a bit about Kickstart, please?
So we're based in Norfolk. We do cover a couple of other counties, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire and out to Rutland area. We've been formed since around about 1996, and it was purely because there was a transport need for a couple of the children that were in their village that didn't have the transport to get to their college course. So a couple of our trustees were affluent enough to be able to purchase a couple of bikes, and then there was a couple of other children needed bikes, and then another village down the road, and in fact a couple of villages, and before you know it they were having to purchase 10, 12 bikes, and Kickstart was born out of that. And the scheme has developed over time in different guises to where we are today.
And who are your typical members?
So we have a range of individuals that we'd work with. Majority of our individuals, probably around about 75% of those individuals, come from what we call the job market. So they're people that are either out of work or coming into work that are registered with the job centres or work programme providers. And they are obviously, the referrals come through those programs to ourselves, and we obviously work with those individuals to get them into either work, training or an education package. On another front, we obviously work with different council areas, with children that are in the leaving care system, or through the post-16 education scheme of individuals that are going to college thereafter school, that are living in a rural area which don't have a transport network to get them there. This becomes an option for them if they want to do that.
And just so I understand the business model, I know that your scheme members pay for the bikes, but also you're a registered charity, so presumably there's some level of subsidy, is there?
So we have, we obviously work with that job market and the job centres and that, those individuals that are referred to us, and we will go back to those individuals and to assist with funding for an individual coming onto our scheme, and that obviously then gives that individual a boost, into that
when they really need it.
Yeah, and if they didn't provide that, then that person may miss out on the opportunity to take a work placement, a job, or attend some form of education.
A great model. What can you tell us about the bikes and scooters?
So we generally have run a complete Honda model. You know what I mean? And there are two different grades of bike, which is a 50cc and a 110cc. Majority of the ones we have are a 110cc, purely because we live in a rural area and there's probably longer distances for individuals to get to either work, training or education. But we do have obviously the 50cc's, and purely obviously the 16-year-olds can only ride a 50cc.
And what proportion of the fleet is currently electric?
So I've got a fleet of over 300 bikes that are here, and currently we have 20 of the electric models. I mean of the fleet. So although it's only a small part, we're in the very early stages of our conversion across, with a view that obviously, hopefully, within the next, however many years, we'll be able to convert our whole fleet over.
And do you have a sort of feeling for timescales?
So the trustees and I have looked at the time scale we think would be possible for us to do that. And 2030 is a target we're looking at converting the majority, not all of it, but the majority of our fleet, hopefully around about 80 to 85% by that point.
Okay, that's pretty soon, really. And what about the economics? How do the finances work out between the electrics and the petrol?
If you're going to, for instance, this bike here, that if you're going to run that bike for 1,000 miles, for instance, against its petrol equivalent, petrol costs for that against the charging electric costs for this one, a 60% saving. Now, that to me, that's a huge saving, especially in this current economic market. Minimum of 50%, if not up to around about 80% less maintenance cost on one of these compared to its petrol equivalent. There's very few moving parts on the bike. So looking at brake pads, front and rear, discs and a few seals and bushes on this, compared to an engine, which is there's massive amounts of maintenance required on one of those.
Okay, and what sort of reaction are they getting?
So initially it was a bit of a hard sell, to convert people from a petrol to an electric. For a number of reasons, I expect, you know, and what we're hearing is that the ease of popping into a petrol station to fill up without having to charge a bike, the actual distance you can get on a bike. However, over time, people have got used to the fact that, you know, there is a process you have to do with an electric vehicle, and we actually use the idea of mobile phones, so you know, a person charges their mobile phone maybe once a day, sometimes twice a day.
And presumably to recharge, you just take the battery pack with you and plug them in at home.
You don't have to take it out of the bike. You can actually do it, charge it in the bike, you know, so the charger comes out, plugs into the socket and leave the battery in the bike to be able to charge it.
Well, that's really interesting. What a fantastic scheme. Obviously got really good social objectives and also then bringing in the environmental factors as well. Thank you very much for your time and good luck with the transition to electric mopeds. Thank you very much.
No problems at all. Thank you.